The first sound isn't the wind. The wind has a voice you can name out here, a long breath that skims the spinifex and threads the ghost gums. This sound is closer, smaller, like a fingertip brushing the inside of your ear to test how far it can reach. It says a name, not mine, not yet, and the red stone on the horizon stops looking still. It looks like it has muscles. That's how it begins. With a sound, a name, and a stone that breathes when it should not. We arrive at dusk because we think dusk will make us brave. In town, the air smelled like sunscreen and hired cars. Out here it's iron and dust, a faint green thread of life pretending to be absent. A wedge-tailed eagle writes a single line across the sky. Uluru is not backdrop. It overruns the horizon, a ribcage lit from within by a sun that refuses to leave politely. There are 5 of us, 6 if you count the guide. He asks us to call him Uncle Bill because we are on his country. He wears age lightly and carries time like a tool. Jules points his camera at the rock as if he can catch it mid-change. Priya is a medical student, practical until reality stops cooperating. Marcus can't resist turning danger into a dare. Lena photographs angles, shadows, thresholds. She rarely includes people, me. I came farther than I should to outrun a memory that learned my pace. At the edge of the track, Uncle Bill stops. "We don't camp here," he says, calm as if asking us to step around a sleeping dog. "We camp back where the ground is low, soft grass." Marcus pushes up his sunglasses. "We came all this way. If we set up there, we're in the parking lot." "We stay where it's right to stay," Uncle Bill replies. He looks past us to the rock like he's listening through it. "This place isn't a picture, it's a story. Not all of that story belongs to you." Jules, sincere, says, "We want to be respectful." "Then listen when the old ones are speaking," Uncle Bill murmurs. "That wind not empty." He holds a palm to the air as if checking a pulse. "We don't camp at the foot, we don't shout, we don't touch what isn't ours." Lena tightens her pack straps. "What happens at the foot?" He meets her eyes with patience that has seen this question many times. "It's where the skin is thin." Priya frowns. "The skin between the bit you call the world and the bit you pretend is." His gaze flicks across us, weighing what we carry without words. "Some of you already know. I pretend not to, even as something loosens inside me at the idea of a thin place where one world exhales into the next. The last time a horizon felt thin to me, someone I loved walked into a sunrise and didn't come back. The sky can thin people. I keep their voice locked in my chest, and I don't want this wind to find it." We should have followed his truck back to softer ground. Instead, Jules asks for one last shot by the base. Marcus says we'll be careful. Priya calls it 5 minutes. Lena steps toward red stone like it's the last canvas left with room for what she sees. The truth is, I want to touch cool ancient skin, to lay a hand on a heart that outlasts our names, to feel part of something breathing. Uncle Bill walks with us, each step a question to the land. Water-carved gullies darken the face. Mouth like caves, eye like hollows. Stare at one shape too long and it consumes the rest. Try to hold the whole and it eludes you. The color deepens, ochre to rust to wine so dark it nears black. Then night arrives without announcement. We stand closer than the rope says we should. Want is not simple. The shadow at the base spreads like a bruise. Jules raises his camera. Marcus pantomimes a bow. Priya whispers an apology that actually means something. Lena clicks a silent shot. "Back," Uncle Bill says softly. Palm lifted in an offering, not a command. "Just one shot." Jules tries. "Back," he repeats, nodding to a fold where the wall leans into itself, a shallow cavern of red sand. That place is not yours. If you're wise, you don't look at it long. We step back. For a moment, we are the right distance. Then Marcus laughs. Someone said his name. You can hear it in the drop of the laugh, the brittle edge when humor brushes something larger than itself. He glances at the stone and his face changes. I know he thinks his mother just called him, not the living one, the other one. Did you hear? He starts and no one answers. Another sound rises, not a name. A low note like a didgeridoo played inside the rock, except it climbs rather than falls. Gravel in a dry riverbed, a giant throat clearing after centuries. Like the ocean you heard in a seashell as a kid, only the ocean is standing beside you. Voices follow in a language older than our vowels. Some speak to us. Most speak to each other, to the place, to a living thing. We should go, Priya whispers. We stay, Marcus says. Lighting the little gas burner like heat can ward off what lives in cold stone. If you throw a song down a well, Uncle Bill murmurs, don't stand close to hear it come back. We make camp against his advice. We call it a detour. We invent distances that absolve us. Jules sets the tripod as if framing can protect. Priya organizes a first aid kit because order is a way to breathe. Lena wraps her camera like a sleeping child. Marcus plays with the flame. I sit. Uncle Bill stands like a tree rooted in memory. Out here, night is textured. Animals draw lines across it. The temperature falls. The sky crowds with stars until they feel arm's length and moth soft. The constellations shrink beneath the larger stories the place insists on telling. A soft rustle in the spinifex, a shape where shapes shouldn't be. A dingo's bark that your mind turns into something else. The rock looks like it swallowed the sun, Jules says. It didn't swallow it, Uncle Bill answers. It gave it back. Red dust lifts near the base, a spiral that hangs without falling. It climbs, collapses, rises again. Dust devil! Marcus grins. Some devils are devils, Uncle Bill says. Some are not. My mouth tastes like iron. The desert turns your body into a drum you feel before you understand. The burner clicks and hisses, ordinary and unsettling. The flame jumps thin and tall, and in the crackle between clicks, someone says my name, my sister's voice. 2 gentle syllables shaped by campfires and mornings and the kitchen window where she used to circle condensation with a finger. I don't move. I don't ask it to repeat. I would rather die than hear it again and step toward it. Marcus stands. Gonna take a piss, he says, humor as shield. Don't let the ghost steal my beer. Uncle Bill starts to speak, then lets it go. He watches the shadow where Marcus vanishes. Jules films the burner's glow because he can frame it. Priya breaks bread in half and offers some to Lena, who doesn't notice. Priya sets it beside her knee and makes that the plan. Minutes stretch, collapse. We haven't been here long. That's what I tell myself when I realize Marcus should be back by now. Marcus! Priya calls. A soft echo answers from the rock. Not his name, just a word rolled inside stone. Not funny, Jules says, already not believing himself. Whispering rises, not wind, breath without lungs. It moves along the base, all consonant and no vowel, teeth behind lips. For a heartbeat it sounds like private talk, prayer, apparent humming. Then it's none of those, and every hair on my body wants to run off my skin. Marcus, Lena says, and the way she uses his name makes me wish we'd kept all our names locked in our mouths. Names are doors. Jules grabs a flashlight because light is a law in his bones. I take mine because I'm not better. Priya stays because stillness saves lives. Uncle Bill steps not where Marcus went, but 3 feet left, tracing a path invisible to us. He doesn't use a light. The beam catches tracks. Boot prints, crisp, naive marks in soft ground. 3 strides away from camp, a longer 4th to step over a depression. Perfect records, too perfect. Uncle Bill inhales. They loop. Marcus walked away, except he didn't. He walked in circles. Big, smaller, smallest. Spirals inside spirals like the dust. The final circle is so tight it's almost one spot. If you glance, it looks like a line going outward. If you look like your life depends on it, you see entries that are exits, exits that return. Footprints that come back to themselves until they don't exist. What is this? Priya whispers. Uncle Bill doesn't answer. Here, it isn't a question. I step into the last circle as if attention is protection. The dust is warm. Through my soles, something plucks a bass string deep in the earth. Marcus! Jules shouts. The whispering leans toward us. His name answers us from everywhere and nowhere, a laugh like a teenager and a bird, exactly him and not him at all. It blinks in and out of position, as if something is sampling him and playing him back. It comes from the rock behind us, beneath the dirt. My throat closes. Back, Uncle Bill says, ending the game. We fall in toward the burner's heat, as if fire is a circle. Jules switches the camera off. For once he believes the lens can't help. Priya counts under her breath without noticing, measuring seconds like vitals. Lena holds the flattened bread. My sister's voice threads through the others, a bright shard braided into rope. She says my name like she's caught and doesn't mind, as if pain is an old friend. The burner sputters and dies. Uncle Bill speaks like an offering. We go now, back to where it's right. We nod, we pack fast without panicking. Tripod legs snap, snap, snap too loud. Priya coils the gas hose. Lena cradles her camera like a relic. I reach for my bag and freeze. A small stone sits on Jules's cloth, palm-sized, iron red. A flake, a piece. You don't take pieces here. Everyone tells you that from touchdown. Don't take rocks, sand, stories not given. But someone took a piece anyway. It's sleeping on our eating cloth. Jules, I say, and he hears the pitch in my voice. He follows my eyes, swallows. It was loose, he says, apology offered as bandage. Uncle Bill looks like a man watching a child knock at a door he can't stop from opening. He doesn't raise his voice. Put it back. Jules moves like water. He lifts the stone with both hands, one small right instinct. He walks toward the base like a penitent. The dark flexes. The whispering sharpens. The weight of the place shifts. Where? He asks. Where you took it, Uncle Bill says. I don't know, Jules admits, and there it is. Not knowing, then doing anyway. He sets it down and steps back, stands still, returns, tries to smile like it doesn't matter. It matters. Bags in hand, we leave the burner. We leave a clean circle of disturbed earth that feels like signing our names. We walk toward softer ground. The moon lifts and paints spinifex silver. It makes the rock look heavier. At the fork where the path widens, Uncle Bill slows and presses his hand to the dirt. He points. Our tracks. We have been walking away from the base. The prints say otherwise. They ribbon back toward the rock, then curve again. The night has been walking us in a polite, wide circle, kindly enough that we didn't notice. Stars have rotated a fraction my body feels, even if my eyes can't catch it. Time sifts in a glass that isn't ours. Stop walking, Uncle Bill says. We stop. He feels the air again for a note he can hum and be ignored. That's what I want more than anything, to be ignored by whatever is older than memory. Being seen by that kind of attention is too much. It looks past your body and stares at the thing inside, holding your name like a lantern. We sit, he says. We wait, we don't call, we don't answer. Keep your eyes where they belong. Where? Priya whispers. Down, he says, or at each other. A beat. Don't look at places moving wrong. If they want you to look, they'll move more. We form a rough circle, backs to the dark like hands on a door. Hearts thud, audible and mismatched. Priya's counting turns to prayer. The wind carries what isn't wind. Voices arrive, many. A market edited into one song. Children, elders, people calling across distances they don't know they can't cross. Soft jokes, anger, hunger, things that aren't people at all but what the land says to itself when it thinks we're not listening. They don't travel on air. They happen between the rock and the inside of our skulls. My sister speaks. Her voice exactly, the tone wrong, a good cover that doesn't understand the song. She says our street. She says the small name only she used for me, a door I refused to open. She says I found it, I found the light. It is the kindest thing and the cruelest. I grip the ground. The ground steadies my shoulder like a patient hand. I don't look up. The impulse is sweet and steady, a glass of water to a mouth gone dry. I do not drink. Jules trembles. His hands twitch toward the camera, habit and hope. Uncle Bill makes a small sound, not a word, just grief, and Jules lowers it. Some places ask you to stop taking. The last time I looked too hard for someone, I found the edge of what a person can ask and still be allowed to stay. So we sit, we become boring. The flame dies. The night makes a sound like a finger circling a glass rim. The ground line vanishes, shadow swallows edge, and Marcus is gone. We didn't see him leave because he wasn't with us. He should have been with us. There was a space big enough for a body, and our minds filled it with a friend. If you want to argue about tricks of fear, you can. I believe presences pull at the corners of noticing the way night pulls at vision. Look here, they say. You look, and in the looking you miss the place where a mouth opens. Priya's fingers clamp my forearm. Bruises bloom. He was here. No, I say, he was. Both true. Uncle Bill closes his eyes and addresses what we cannot see. Not quite apology, not bargain. Something like you know how kids are. Something like they didn't know. Something like you had your look, let them go. The voices rearrange and taste our names. We do not answer. We wait. There's a way to leave a place that circles. Uncle Bill says finally. How? Lena asks. You don't walk toward a way, he says. You walk toward right, not direction, doing. If you took, give. If you spoke, listen. If you looked, lower your eyes. If you didn't ask, ask, fix the shape. The country notices shapes. We put it back. Jules breathes. We tried, Priya says. It noticed the taking, Uncle Bill says. Putting back is the start. I'll do it properly, Jules says. He reaches for the camera and then, angry at himself, lets it drop for good. I know better. You know now, Uncle Bill says. No one stops Jules when he stands. The legs belong to the man. He cradles the stone in the cloth and squares his shoulders like a person ready to accept the consequence he earned. The whispering hushes in a small eddy as he approaches. The surface of the rock is close enough that a thrown handful of dust could touch it. I don't throw anything. My arms refuse. He lowers the cloth. He places the stone. He bows his head and speaks to a listener who isn't us. An opening appears, not a mouth. We want mouths. The rock shows what it wants us to see, a darkness within the larger dark, depth behaving like heat shimmer, a fold in the story. He sets the stone at the edge and steps back. One step, another, he stops. Every part of me wants him to return. A thread runs from the opening to his back. Want is not a word we use for stone, we use it now. He turns to look. That is the mistake. Want hides in the look. It's a hook behind beauty. It catches the curious part of you. The rock seems to move even when it doesn't. His hands lift because caught bodies lift their hands. Jewels, Priya says, and it sounds like both comfort and question. Something meets him that we cannot feel. His face smooths. He smiles like he recognizes an old friend in the dark. Maybe he does. Maybe the country learned how to sing like what you miss. He steps into shadow. 1 second he's there. The next he is. The space doesn't gape or swallow. It simply is itself. He has gone into being not being that a person like me takes a long time to understand. We sit in our small circle and try not to let the desert smell like grief, or we'll sour it forever. He didn't scream, Lena whispers. There are many kinds of scream, Uncle Bill says, voice tired to the bone. Stars wheel a fraction. Night birds laugh wrong. Time moves. We fix what shapes we can. We tie bags closed. Cover the shiny mouth of the burner. Bury the bread with quiet thanks. We tighten the circle so there is no seat to trick us. We count ourselves in numbers, not names. 2, 3, 4. We leave 5 empty. Names are doors. Lena stands without any of us looking up. I have to tithe, she says, plain as asking the price of bread. We don't ask what that means. Questions can pull fingers from rock. She angles away from where Jules went and stops where the wall leans in like 2 shoulders nearly touching. She unscrews her lens and sets it gently on the earth as if leaving a gift on a doorstep. She bows a fraction to what the stone wears and steps back. The whispering shifts, a crowd quieting a little. Nothing eats her. That sentence should not exist. It exists here. She returns, tucks her hands into her sleeves. Her eyes shine with the air of offering and uncertainty. Priya whispers a number. I whisper the next. That's when we see it. Not a person, not tree tall, not anything I can measure cleanly. A shadow at the edge of our seeing where moonlight spills off rock and pools silver on dirt. It's shaped like absence. Straight on, it vanishes. Averted gaze, like a faint star, brings it to clarity. The night bends around it as a river bends around a stone. When I was a boy, I touched an electric fence after someone told me not to. It was quiet. What kind of power is quiet? The jolt made my whole body laugh and then cry. This is like that. The part of me that reaches for forbidden things opens, and I hate him, past and present, because the moment I angle my attention toward the shape, it looks back. No face, only thoughts that are not mine and not human, not cruel exactly, because cruelty is our game, something else, attention. The land pays you attention, and your bones are not built for that weight. The shape doesn't move. The dust at its base rises, a knee-high spiral balancing on an invisible pin. It spins and unwinds and falls in a way that makes sleep sound like a trap with teeth. Don't look at it, Uncle Bill says without panic. Look at your feet, the blade of grass by your knee, the tiny world you can survive looking at. We look down, a beetle crosses a pebble. A crease in a leaf is a ruler straight line. A mouse's hop left an arched cave in the sand. If you treat these as the entire world, the urge to look up dulls. Voices creep inside our circle. A lullaby my mother hummed when she didn't want us to know she was in the room. Priya presses her hand to her throat as if to hold a sound in. "Look at your breathing," Uncle Bill says. "Make it slow, make it boring." We breathe, slow, boring. Stars click forward on some invisible gear. A rhythm takes and holds. A religion could grow out of this, I think, and then stop thinking, because that sentence is a little altar to my own ego, and I am already sitting in a cathedral. The shadow leans, not wind, our attention pulls it. A sound like 1,000 fingernails across stone whispers through the night, not unpleasant, like a cat licking your hand. Intimacy without permission, the oldest human feeling. It murmurs words that sound like they dreamed in someone else's tongue. To my mind, and maybe theirs, you are seen, not unkindly, you did not ask. Again, not unkindly, ask. I can't ask without making mistakes. I choose the smallest question I can carry without breaking it. Inside the circle, head bowed, I think, can we go? The dust shivers, a creature shaking water from its back. The voices turn back into conversations among themselves. The shadow remains. Permission and presence are different. "If there's a path," Lena says to the ground, "show us." A wind line etches our footprints in flour. It draws a 6-inch wide line through our mess, like a child solving a maze with a red pencil. It's too obvious for a trickster world. Uncle Bill tilts his head, listening to his bones. "We go," he says, "but we walk backward." Priya releases a small, awful laugh. "Why?" "Forward is wrong here," he says. "Put your feet in your own steps, undo your shape." We stand slowly, heels where toes were, one backward step, another. The urge to turn is physical, a hand on the jaw, we resist. The air lightens a fraction, snip, snip, snip. It feels like cutting thread. We make progress, the only word my city brain trusts. The narrow track forces a tight line. I feel better and know better than to trust it. We find the more trodden path. A little sigh leaves me without permission. The night eats it. We're 40 feet from where low ground becomes right ground, when the voices say a short word with a hard stop in the middle. Uncle Bill's breath changes. "Don't run," he says. We don't. We place our heels where our toes were. The shadow leans and pulls back like a shrug. Something in the stones laughs, a small laugh the way you do when the kid checks the door a second time and you decide it's enough. "Step, step, step." The ground softens. Spinifex leans closer. Paths multiply the way human feet do when they're welcome to follow. I smell our camp, soap, fuel, sweat, the lemon sting of sanitizer. Human smells uninteresting. We reach the place Uncle Bill named. We set our bags down. We sit. The ground has that yes in it, not moral right, physical right, like water finding the low place. We don't sleep. We doze around the edges, jaws clenched. The dream door stays closed because something's fingers rest against the crack, and we're not foolish enough to push. Dawn thins the black to a blue with no clean word in my mouth. The rock blushes. The air smells like the thought you have before you dare to remember the night. We count. We do it like people in lifeboats in scenes from movies that hurt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is empty. We don't say his name. Uncle Bill rises. He makes space with his body as if drawing a doorway for someone else. He touches the ground with 2 fingers like signing a letter to what holds us up. Then you go, find people, tell them you're here, don't come back today, don't come back tonight, give the country time to forget your shape. "Forget," Priya says. "Remembering is kindness for some things," he answers. "Not you, not now. You're not coming." I ask, and feel the selfishness immediately. I am home, he says. You go home. Lena starts to argue, then tucks the words away. She takes a picture with her bones so she will not forget a man shaped like a promise. We do what he says. If the land's memory keepers tell you to move, you move. People pass us on the way back. They look at us like wild things too close to town, ask nothing and everything with their eyes. We say nothing because sometimes words protect, and sometimes silence is the only thing that can. At the ranger station, we tell just enough to make them move, not enough to make them misunderstand. Someone goes out with Uncle Bill. Others put us in a cold room with water in paper cups we hold like ropes. A woman asks for our names, places, what we touched, what we took, where we stood. We confess without theatrics. She nods without judgment. She is interested in facts that help carry the day. Safe is the wrong word. It's the one my bones reach for, raised on false safety. My bones are wrong. On the third day we leave town. We don't take the road that hums closest to the base. We don't climb anything. We don't say haunted. We don't call it adventure. We drive. The road runs flat. Scrub stands in loose gangs. Birds laugh at us with their flight. We stop for fuel. Pies are better than they need to be. We take turns at the wheel. The radio stays quiet. Silence sits with us like a person content not to talk. 100 kilometers out, the light tightens its belt. Wind runs sideways over asphalt. Dust lifts, not storm memory. It coats the windshield in a film you could write a name in. Priya does. She writes hers because sometimes hands have to draw you into the world. The dust spells it back. Same letters, same shape, like a kid tracing your guide. Then it writes a second name, Marcus. Priya stares. She scrubs the glass with her sleeve. Red smears her wrist like a cut. She is fine. It's decoration you take with you when you leave a place that watches. We don't talk about it. We drive to the airport. Airports feel ridiculous anywhere, more so here with patients breathing an inch beyond the tarmac. We pass security. I carry no metal but the soft kind under my ribs. We sit together at a gate. We look like human beings. I close my eyes and my sister stands in the shade at the base of the rock. She is 19 and older than me, and exactly the age where you realize childhood didn't end where you thought. She says my name. The first time there, it was a hook. Now it's a gift I don't have to accept to know it's a gift. I take it anyway. I say her name back quietly to myself and try, finally, after a long, stubborn grief that thought it was loyalty, to tell her goodbye. It isn't cinematic. It's a man in an airport chair with red dust in the seams of his shoes, crying into his hands while a plane boards, while Lena stares at a wall, while Priya stares at nothing and eats nothing, while a vending machine speaks kindly to empty air. We go home, or the places we call home. I try not to turn the place into a metaphor. I cook, I sweep. Dust gathers and is always a little redder than city dust should be. You can say it's construction down the block. You can say a truck dragged the desert in. Say what you like. Language is the way we stand the world. At night, when the mood of the walls shifts, a sound visits that isn't the wind. It's inside the building and inside me. I don't answer. I don't call. I repeat little rules in a voice that feels borrowed but kind. Be kind, give, listen, lower, ask. I leave bread where birds find it. I don't step on ant roads. I tie my shoes and thank them for making circles that go nowhere. Days pass. The dust in the corners of my apartment settles in thin crescents. Once I wake because a word moves through the room like a river talking to itself. The city never gets fully dark, but in the ceiling's corner a shape leans where two walls meet. I don't look at it, I stare at the smallest thing. A crack above the window runs like a rivulet and meets another like a tree. I breathe and count. I lower. I listen. I ask if I can sleep. I ask whatever is here to pass me by like a dog sniffing and losing interest. I'm not brave or foolish. I am a man who learned he can't outrun the oldest conversations. The shape leans, pulls back, dust lifts and falls like remembering. No breeze, just a story dripping out of a long mouth. A message arrives from Lena. She writes spare the way she speaks. She can't look at any picture she made that year. She dreams in red. She thinks she needs to go back, not to fix anything. To sit and listen. Do I want to come? I wait a day before answering. Then I say yes. Maybe return is a shape that matters. Maybe once seen, you stop trying to pry the hand away and learn how to be touched without forgetting yourself. We don't book tickets. We let the idea breathe like a low note. In the most ordinary hours, little echoes find me. Waiting at checkout, the conveyor rattling, a child behind me hums 2 notes no one taught them. The mother hushes them and the child laughs, the soft, wrong laugh we heard the night the desert kept our friend. Not cruel, just old. I pay for bread. I go home. I drink water slowly as if for the first time. If you're waiting for me to find Marcus on the street, thin and sunburned and sheepish, I can't give you that. If you're waiting for a boot, a shirt, a message scratched in dirt, I can't give you that either. I can give you a night when he called my name from a stone that didn't learn my language by accident. I can give you the shape of our fear and the size of our small courage. I can give you dust that moved like it remembered us and the backward steps we took until the land looked away. We thought we were camping at the base of a rock. The rock was camping around us. Some stories aren't ours. Some are lent to us for a night if we mind our manners. Maybe what I offered that night was my will to be bigger than the place that let me live. Maybe it was the small stone behind my breastbone that believes I am everything, and the land reminded me I am not. Not every echo is yours to answer. Not every shadow is empty. Not every voice is calling you. If you go, ask. If you hear, listen. If you look, lower. If you want, give. If you are seen, be small. If you stand at the base of something that knows your name without your mouth's consent, remember there are drums under your feet, and your feet beat back, and the song is older than you, kinder than you, and none of your business at all. Sometimes now late, I turn off the lights and let the city try to remember dark. I close my eyes. At the room's edge, just past where sight catches, patience sits like a continent. I nod. I say, thank you for the look. I leave a chair empty the way you do for old ones at dinner, unsure if anyone will come. Does that mean I'm still there, walking circles in dust? Maybe that's what memory is. Footprints your mind lays forever after the body leaves. Maybe the land let me go because it watched me watch myself, and, for a breath longer than a life, decided mercy. Either way, telling you this puts iron on my tongue. Somewhere beneath concrete, a slow, deep song rolls over and grins, night stretching long limbs without hurry because everything comes home to it eventually. We didn't make it out because we were brave. We made it out because we chose small, boring tricks that made us forgettable. We lowered our eyes, we counted, we gave back what wasn't ours, we said nothing when voices came close. We put our feet where our feet had been. We asked. The country either said yes or it did not say no. If you go, and I'm not telling you to go, do not camp at the base. Do not touch what isn't yours. Do not test the thickness of a skin you cannot repair. The world is thin there. It will let you look through. You may not like what looks back. And if you hear your name in the stone, sweet as fruit from the past, do not walk toward it like a man stepping into his own mouth. Years from now, if I am lucky enough to count the stories I didn't tell as victories, I'll sit with Lena and Priya and we will not use names. We will let the rock keep what it keeps. We will remember the land is alive, and the life in it is not a queue of ghosts waiting for tidy narrative. It is complicated, tender, huge. It is patient. It survives our misunderstandings. We'll pour water on ground that isn't ours or its only ground. We will say nothing. We will listen to the wind and what is not the wind. Something will whisper gratitude in a language I will never learn. A shadow will lean and pull back. Dust will rise and unwind. And an old world will keep watching like the sea watches the shore. Without hurry, without malice, certain of its hunger, gentle when you are gentle, always aware of your shape. Once seen, it never lets you go. Curse or blessing depends on what you do with what you saw. I'll leave you with what Uncle Bill said in the hour the night had its hand around our throats. He made it sound like a story, not a command. The old ones are not gone. They followed their songs into the ground. The land keeps them, and they keep the land. We are guests. Guests say thank you. Guests do not rearrange the furniture. Remember that when dust moves and shadows grow a second shadow. If you can, you might stand at an edge that doesn't need you and still be allowed to look without becoming it. If you can't, the circles are patient. They'll carry you back to where you began until the lesson fits your feet. The voices will keep saying your name until you learn to hear without answering. The rock will be what it has always been. We are the ones who change if we are lucky in time. If not, we become a story the land tells itself when the wind forgets how to be wind and just sits like a person in the dark listening.